Just want to talk to you guys about a little bit about my experience in Nigeria. First of all, this is my first country ever traveling to.
Been on the phone before I even came to Nigeria.
Where are you from in the first place?
Virginia.
Since America is going through some things, this is the best time to look into dual citizenship. So here's what I spend living part-time in Nigeria. First, we don't pay any rent since the house is paid off.
Hi, my name is Viola, and this is my first time in Nigeria. So
all sorts of things. So when I arrived in Lagos, Nigeria, and seemed happy.
What's going on, guys? This is Dejan checking in all the way from Dayton, Ohio. I'm in the United States. Finally back. You know, I've been back for a little minute now. But I just want to do this video because I just want to talk to you guys about a little bit about my experience in Nigeria. First of all, this is my first country ever traveling to that I took a flight from the United States and went straight there. Of course, I've been to cruises where I stopped at Mexico and I stopped at the Cayman Islands and I stopped at Jamaica, but I never took a flight straight from the United States and went to Nigeria. Not only that, I went by myself. So it was quite the experience. And yeah, so for anybody that's on the fence about going, I'm just gonna tell you my experience. It was a hell of an experience, you know what I mean, from the gate, you know what I mean? Like, they got good hospitality. I would say it's a very, very hustle and bustle city. Well, Lagos in general, where I went to Lagos, it take like maybe 45 minutes to an hour to get anywhere. If you're going 3 to 4 miles, it's gonna take you an hour because the traffic is bumper to bumper. Oh mo. But anyway, it take a while, so plan for that. But overall, man, I had to see that. I had to see that the experience I went to. You know, I went to some of the roughest areas. I was in some of the craziest conditions. It just really made me reflect on my life and how I had it. You know, some days I'm over here. Sometimes I can't pay for stuff. Sometimes I have rough times. Sometimes it's hard times over here. You know what I mean? A lot of times, especially with the economy, it just made me realize like it could be a lot different. You know what I mean? So it made me very appreciative for my country as well. Though I'm 30% Nigerian, but it just really made me appreciative from where I came from. And if you're on the fence about going, go. Especially if you love your partner. If you love your partner, go. Take the trip. Get the finances together. Do what you got to do to get over there, man. Because it's a place like no other. You know what I mean? You get to see it. You get to see how people are living. You get to see the culture. You get to see the resources. You get to see the hustle and bustle. You know what I mean? Like it made me realize I ain't working hard enough. I never worked hard enough. When I went to Nigeria, I seen how hard them people work. I see how hard them people get up and go and provide for their family, and they do whatever it takes. You know what I mean? You're gonna see a lot of people asking for stuff. You know, asking for money, asking for this, asking for that, but as I went along, as I adapted to the culture, I was like, that's a part of the culture. That's a part of how they live. That's a part of their history. I mean, they've been doing that for years. So it was kind of uncomfortable for me at first, but as the days went by, I got really comfortable with it. So it is what it is. One thing I would say, do not act like you're not from there. You know what I mean? Act like you've been there before. Act normal. You know, listen to your partner. You may not want to, and it might be a female, or it might be a male. Listen to them because they know better than you. You know what I mean? At first, I was adamant to it because Esther was like, you know, get over here, do this, get out the sun, get away from, put your phone up. Like, don't get over there, video camera and everything. Don't get over there taking out your camera. Just like over here in the United States, you can't be in certain places. And that's all around the world. Don't go to certain places. Do your research. You know what I mean? Wherever you're going, do your research of wherever you're going. You know, take Uber. You know what I'm saying? Don't trust no random taxi driver. Don't trust no random person with a vehicle. Just don't do that. You know what I mean? Trust Uber, trust Bolt, whatever transportation sources you got in your phone. Do that. But overall, I love the place, especially the food. The food was amazing. The food tasted so good. Like, the food was gonna stick with me forever. You know what I mean? If I was to go back, I know what to do and I know what not to do. There's things you do and things you don't do. You know what I mean? I watched a lot of YouTube before I went. I watched a lot of documentaries. I watched a lot of stuff on Nigeria, different neighborhoods, different places, different people. Like, I studied the culture as much as I can, but nothing beats being in it. You know what I mean? Nothing beats being there in person. So I hope that was enough for you guys. And y'all take that with y'all. That's all I got. It's Dez and I'm out. Peace. I love y'all.
Why don't you tell people how we met? How long we've been talking? How long we've been on the phone before I even came to Nigeria?
Where are you from in the first place?
Virginia.
Where exactly?
Hampton, Virginia. Newport News. 757, baby. What else?
What do you do? What were you doing in America?
I was a bus driver. I'm retired military. I'm a veteran. And so what I decided and what I was thinking about is, okay, when we were talking, I remember when I first met you, when we were talking, I was asking questions about how is it like in Nigeria? What is it like? I knew it was already hot. You know, it's a tropical country, so I already knew it was hot. But I was saying, but we got to discussing, and you said just really, I mean, really, I think everybody should know this. The one thing that you told me is that you only pay rent here once a year. So can you imagine America? Imagine paying your $1,500 rent and you only had to pay it one time for the year. That's what we do here in Nigeria. So that was a selling point for me.
Although you don't pay 1,500 here. You pay 7 million here.
Well, that's because this is where we want to live. I'm just saying, you know, for the price that I was paying for, remember our house we was in before we moved here? Mm-hmm. The house we moved into was $2 million, right? So that's basically $2,000. Just basically $2,000, and that was for the whole year. I was paying almost $2,000 every single month. So you see, you know, my mind is saying, hey, you know, I would be able to survive on the rest of my pension each month just by moving here. And the thing I want to say about it is there's no difference here in America.
Since America is going through some things, this is the best time to look into dual citizenship. So here's what I spend living part-time in Nigeria. First, we don't pay any rent since the house is paid off, all thanks to Jesus. I do not like a lot of overhead monthly, so this really helped. Next, we have our chef. We pay him around $200K a month. Sometimes I do feel like cooking, so he's not always on duty. And we do have a big family, so groceries is usually $500K a month. Next up, photography is usually $300K a month. We love to document our experiences, so we have memories as a family. Next up, we have alterations, which is usually around $800K a month. You're not Nigerian if you don't get a different outfit made for every event. If you know, you know. This is how I feel because my stylist gets it right every single time, period. Okay, next we have our cleaners. We pay them, I think, like $200K a month. I really don't know. My mom handles all of that. I don't spend money on much, but if I see a cute outfit, I'm going to hop out and get it. So shopping, I spend around $200K. Total, that's $1,400, and that's on an expensive month. On a usual month, I would say I spend less than $800 a month. My rent for my apartment in America is 4 times more than that. So let me know, do you guys think that's affordable? Would you move here? Is it expensive? Follow me for more content like this. Bye.
Hi, my name is Viola and this is my first time in Nigeria. So the first thing on the agenda today was to get a local SIM. So here's me on my way to get a local SIM. Here's me at MTN, and it was so hot in there. And then the next thing that I went to do was go to Nikkei Art Gallery, and this is a place for all people who love art. There was so many wonderful artwork, art pieces, sculptures, everything. And I love that when you go there, they do this little sing-song. So I'll let you listen to the sing-song that they do when you come in. So at Nikkei Art Gallery, you can find so many beautiful pieces. I'm talking sculptures, paintings, cultural pieces. It is just a wonderful gallery full of so many things that connect us to different cultures across Nigeria, and I took the opportunity to take some pictures at things that I really enjoyed. So some of these art pieces that I just absolutely loved, and here you see me walking around and having a look at what this represents, how this is some of the things that I see whilst being here in Lagos. And yeah, follow me to see what I do next, and yeah, hopefully.
When I moved to Nigeria 5 years ago, everyone told me,
"You don't have future here. You don't have future. You can never make it."
I swear, it seems like everyone was telling me horrible things that were going to happen to me. So people were saying I was going to get murdered, stabbed, robbed, kidnapped, or like variations. So like kidnapped and murdered, kidnapped and robbed. You know, people were telling me all sorts of things. So when I arrived in Lagos, Nigeria, and seemed happy, going, you know, I was in Lagos, Abuja, Enugu, Owerri, Abia. I went pretty much my little tours, and I was traveling by myself. When I seemed so happy, people then took bets on how long my happiness was going to last in Nigeria, how long I was going to last in Nigeria. And then now, this morning, you know, this rainy season morning, cool weather, I woke up and just randomly thought about that and said, wait, I'm still here. That's it. That's all I wanted to say.